I'm going to be talking about a new conversation that I want to have within recovery and within trauma, that is recovering to. So much of us, so much of what we do within this world is talk about what you're recovering from. And I talked about this, and I like this analogy. What we do is when we say we're recovering from something, we take a pick and we put it in the ground there, and then we grab the rope, and then we just step back and we say, I got 6 years, and I got 5 years, and I got these many days, and I got these many hours. But we're attached to that which we're recovering from. Always. Because our conversation is, I'm recovering from that pick that I put in the ground. What I want to do is add a conversation that turns us around and says, what am I recovering to? So then I now have a target rather than an anchor. Right? Because when we're talking about recovering from, we're talking about recovering from who we used to be. Who are we today? We don't know, because we're talking about who we used to be. We've never defined that. We never defined where we're going. And so that's why I want to bring the conversation of recovering yourself. Because as Ryan was talking about, who is the self is all of you, right? It's the whole part. And when we start talking about perceptions, when we're talking, and perceptions, I use the word perceptions as that neural net that has a real strong myelin sheath, this coating. And what happens between perception and thought are very different. Right? When you have a thought, you grow a new connection. When you have a perception, it just thump. Your brain just shocks you into a perception. When you smell an orange, you have all of these different ideas of what an orange is, and they just come flooding in because it's fact in your mind. So if you see somebody acting a certain way out in the world, you have a perception of why they're doing that. That's your mind. That's not them. You don't know what the hell they're doing. You don't know why they're doing it. But you believe you do. So that's a fact in your mind. Long-term recovery. So you should know I got 18 years. I got clean and sober when I was 25. Long-term recovery is born out of understanding what we're moving towards. Because every time that you refer to your recovery as something back there, you are going to have to eventually re-engage in that relationship. Because you're saying, my relationship to my recovery is cocaine, or is alcohol, or is this thing, or is my trauma. And if I don't engage with it, I lose myself. I'm losing that definition. And we have built a neural net in our mind that is so strong, every time we feel it, thump, we have a thought that brings us right back to the end of that cord. And when we decide that we're no longer going to recover from, we're going to start recovering to something. Now everything relates to who we're becoming, not who we